Well, hello, everyone. My name is Lee Cage. I am the host of 15 Minutes with. Today, I'm super excited, elated, just all the things. I'm feeling all the feels to have a very special guest on today's episode. Her name is Darcy Reagan. Darcy is a Workday consultant and HRS guru, and we're so excited to have you. Welcome, Darcy.
Thank you, Lee. It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. So Darcy, I never had a chance to work with you directly, but I know that we've kind of been in some of the same circles of organizations and all the things in your career. So I would love to learn a little bit about who Darcy is and your workday journey.
Right. Well, a little personal information is I raised 9 children with my husband. Yeah,
Wow.
9 children, and we homeschooled, and we both were Workday consultants. That way we could travel to locations. We had that flexibility, so that was a lot of fun. Um, but professionally, I have been in the Workday arena almost 15 years, starting with a very small project. It was around 30 days, change management, creating some deliverables for user adoption. And of course, it wasn't full-time Workday at that time because I remember being on that project and they're announcing their 50th Workday customer. So this was a very long time ago.
Wow.
And it was a little Workday, a little Salesforce, and so on. And within probably the last 10, 11 years, it's been exclusively Workday with maybe a little Salesforce side gig here or there. But I love Workday. I love the ease of using it. And, it's, in my opinion, it is the very best that there is. And that's why I concentrate solely on Workday.
Wow, I love that. So you mentioned, I mean, you have almost a basketball team, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
I think life and all of those things are amazing. I know you mentioned that your husband also was a part of the Workday ecosystem. Again, I'm very sorry for your loss. I know that's still fairly recent, but I think the Workday ecosystem will never be the same without him. But I also heard that you actually are a veteran as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, tell
Many,
me a little
many
bit
years ago.
about that. Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but I enlisted in the Coast Guard. I served for almost 4 years, and I was stationed in Newport, Rhode Island, and I loved it. Really, I don't have regrets in my life, but if I could go back and change one thing, that would be it. I would have stayed in longer. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, I'm a military person myself. I've been in over a little bit over 15 years at this point. So thank you for your service. I know Veterans Day is just right around the corner next month, and so hopefully you'll have an opportunity to celebrate that.
Yes, thank you
So
too, service.
thank you. So you mentioned a little bit about your workday journey. Is HRS, really the only space that you've been in? So what other areas have you focused in on or that you do?
I do finance. I prefer not to do finance. I do like
Okay.
it, but if I'm not excellent at something, I prefer to let the experts do it, but I can assist with finance. Um, Student is really my forte. I I've
Mm,
done a lot of higher ed projects with some organizations, and I love it. I love the fact that the faculty is they're very particular with what they want. And I love that. That's the way my brain works. If you tell me this is exactly what you want, I want to give that to you.
okay.
Um, but I have a lot of experience in HCM, as you said, but I really enjoy student. I really do.
Well, what do you think is one of the biggest or most difficult parts about being a consultant?
Um, I I think it's whenever after COVID, I think it's got a little challenging because prior you could be on site. It was a lot easier to be on site. And, post COVID, this has caused a little bit of a challenge because many times you don't get that synergy and you don't get the cohesiveness that you get from the team if you're actually there on site.
Mm,
Um, So that's a little bit of a challenge in the meetings, getting your point across, maybe getting your thoughts and feelings across in an email. It isn't as easy as it is if you're there in person.
Can be
And
challenging.
yeah, when you meet with someone, you can just, there's that energy there that I think we're lacking a lot of post-COVID. That's the only challenge I have right now. I've been doing consulting for so long that, it's just like second nature. It just comes through my mind. Okay, do it next.
Wow. If you could change one thing about whether that's the Workday ecosystem, the partner network, the customer pieces, if you could change one thing about the Workday ecosystem, what would it be?
I don't know if it's so much the ecosystem as maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know if it's the ecosystem, but I really don't think that change management is thought of highly enough. I don't think enough customers realize how much they need it until after go live or getting close to go live. And I really believe if that was interwoven more into the sales process or maybe even the implementation, where customers could see, they don't just come in and tell you you need X, Y, and Z. That user adoption determines if you have a successful implementation or not. And I tell customers, you spend so much time and money on Workday getting this right, and to not recognize how important change management is, you're losing a lot of that. They really need to understand that. So it's not so much Workday. I think that's really across the board with a lot of organizations, but that's what I.
So change, adoption, those components. I mean,
Yes.
you're right on it. Workday is, not a cheap tool.
Mhm.
And to your point, so many times we spend a lot of capital on the implementation costs and bringing in all of these other components, HCM or financials that we really don't think about deeply enough. The transformation and change management, that OCM component of it, and really ensuring that users know how this is benefiting them, their organization, and their future of work. So that's important. I agree. So, you've mentioned a little bit about your military background. You've shared a little bit about what you would or would not change. I'm curious, like, if you could work for any organization, who would it be? Like, what type of company or the name of the company, like your dream company? Maybe we'll tag them after this goes. But yeah.
Um, I would love to work for Alchemy or Workday, just because Alchemy has so much higher ed. That's what they do. That's what they excel at. But higher ed is growing so much that many other organizations are getting into doing more higher ed projects. So I don't really like to put myself in a box because there might come another opportunity. And, I don't like to say this is exactly what I'm looking for because I like to stay open to everything.
Wow. I love that. I'm a huge fan of Alchemy as well. Small, boutique-ish, type of feel that it reminds me of Friends where everybody knows your name type of lens. But still an effective organization in the Workday education vertical. So what do you think, makes a good leader? And do you see those things in yourself?
Well, I always hate these type of questions because I'm not one to toot my own horn, but I think a good leader has to be able to be aware, self-aware for one thing, and be aware of the people that they are leading. Because even if you're not mentoring someone or someone is not in your particular group in an organization, people watch you. People see what you're doing. And you need to be that type of person that when anyone looks at you, they're going to say, you know what? Lee's the person that I would go to if I need advice. Lee's the person that I really don't understand what I should do here. I'm going to go to Lee because I know he has the expertise and the skill set. And I think it's very important as a leader to be able to pull that out of people, to let them know, hey, I'm here. And you can feel comfortable, even if you don't know what you're doing on your job, coming to me. I'm not going to say, You can't tell me you didn't learn that. You need to know this. I want to be open to everyone, and I am. As I said, I don't like to brag about myself, but raising 9 children, I had to be aware of 9 different personalities, and that was challenging enough. Except at work too, I had the same thing going on. So, to me, that's the biggest thing with a leader is being able to present that openness and that mentoring so that people understand that you are there for them to come to.
Well, I was, as you were talking, I was just going to the raising of a community of folks and dealing with different personalities. I know we deal with those various personalities on projects, sometimes various personalities from the same person on a project.
Yes.
So I'm curious, being a mom of 9, what's like one takeaway, like one thing that you learned that has not only empowered you as a mother and as a provider, but also in your professional career?
There's probably 2 things. Organization, because without that, nothing flows right. But being able to see each person, just as each child, as someone different. Just
Mm.
because I have 4 daughters, they're all individuals. They're all different. Just like at work, there might be 4 people on the team, but they all bring something unique to the table, and they all have their own skill set and their experience, and we can all learn from each other. It doesn't matter if someone's been in the Workday ecosystem 6 months and someone, 6 years. Everyone has something worthy of learning from.
Wow. Learning environments grow everyone, not just the
Yes,
person.
exactly.
Love that. So, Darcy, we're at this point in our conversation where we move from a little bit more of this conversation pieces to a game called Rapid Fire. But I want to do something different. I'd like to go to Rapid Fire and then come back to one other question from you. Okay. We'll spice things up for the month of October. So, as we move to Rapid Fire, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. We just want the first thing that comes to your mind. Now, some of these you may have seen on other episodes of Rapid Fire questions, but we've added in some special ones for you. So, if you are ready to begin, I'd love for us to start now. All right. If your life was a movie, what would the tagline be?
Probably, oh my gosh. And I'd had this one thought out. Um, The Impossible Dream.
Mm. If your life was a children's book, what would it be called?
Don't touch that.
The number of times I heard that as a kid. Okay, you're bringing
Yeah.
back memories. What's something new you've learned in the last week?
Well, I take LinkedIn Learning. So it's not necessarily educational, but I have learned a lot of new skills on LinkedIn Learning, and I'm a big proponent of that. I've learned how to do basic programming in Python, which is pretty cool.
Wow. What is your hidden talent?
Um, I don't know if I have one, but I can speak several different languages, and I'm actually learning them through Rosetta Stone. That's sort of a hidden talent, I guess.
Oh my goodness. Wow. You are full of surprises. That's just lovely. What are you most looking forward to in 2024?
No, I had a major trip planned this year with my husband, and that didn't go well. We've planned it for several years. So after the first of the year, I am actually taking a trip to Europe with one of my sons, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Wow. How long are you guys going to be there? I'm curious.
2 weeks.
Okay. Well,
Long.
just so you know, I am travel size. I fit in small suitcases. Bring me along.
Come on.
Oh my
Make
goodness.
room for you.
Thank you. What never fails to make you laugh?
Just life in general. Things never go as you have planned. They never do.
What do you think is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life is for us to all help each other and to love each other and to lift each other up along our journey towards the end. Everyone has difficulties. We all have highs and lows. And I firmly believe that it's our responsibility to lift others up when we can.
Wow, I love that. What would you, hmm, what would your older self tell your younger self if you could go back?
Oh gosh. Have more fun.
I mean, you had 9 kids. Okay, you have 9 kids.
Well,
A lot of excitement.
no, I mean like traveling more. And, when I was studying, one of my baby, youngest daughter told me, she said, many times when I was growing up, when you weren't at work, you were at the table with your laptop. She said, studying, taking classes. And I really wish that I'd have more fun and maybe spread that education out a little bit longer. But no regrets. Yeah.
I think, and this is not a part of our normal rapid fire piece, but I will say, I think presence is so important. Growing up in a house where my mother is a nurse, she's a director of nursing. She worked, you know, all of the crazy shifts, 11 to 7, 7 to 3, all of the things. And I just remember thinking back on how important the time was. Even though I realized her job literally was life and death for folks, it was always appreciated the quality, genuine, authentic time that was uninterrupted. So I'm sure with 9 kids, you probably have some grandkids here or coming or on the way. So you'll have another opportunity to spend some more time.
Yes, yes. And my mother was director of nursing too, but she was at a nursing home.
Oh my
And we would
goodness.
go, yeah, on when they would do like the holiday meals for the nursing
Yes.
staff, would sit and answer the phone. I remember being 12 years old,
Oh,
sitting and she taught me how to use a multi-line phone. And yeah.
I guess some things don't change because I spent a lot of my formative years at my mom's a nursing
Yeah.
at the nursing home as well. So she is the director of nursing for a long-term care facility. And I too, by the way, they also have Workday. But I too spent a lot of time at the nurses station. For the
Hmm.
holidays, I would go and play the piano for the elderly and do the rounds. I spent a lot of time. Okay, a lot of time
That's good.
there. So kudos to your mom. I didn't realize we had that
Yeah, that's cool.
alike. Yeah, yeah. This is why I must never end up at a nursing home when I get older. But spent all the time in my early years. Okay, I just
Yeah,
want to be home with
yeah,
the last ones.
yeah. It won't
Uh,
happen.
what is the best advice you've ever received?
Um, I had a manager one time tell me exactly what I said. She said, "You never know what people are dealing with. And just because someone doesn't have the educational credentials or whatever it is you're looking for," she said, "you need to look at the person because many people are trainable. Many people didn't have the opportunities you had when you were younger." And she said, "You can't put people in a box and judge everyone the same." She said, "You need to take chances and you need to give back and mentor." And I still remember that. I had to have been about 21 years old and she was amazing. I still remember it. It touched my heart.
It's always interesting the things that stick with us, even when people
Mhm.
don't intend for them to stick with us. She didn't say, hey, highlight this moment in your life and let it imprint, your memories, but it's something that's resonated with you. And obviously you've been living by it. Which brings me to my final rapid fire question. What do you think the key to a good life is?
A good life is the key is being happy with what you have, for one. If you're not happy, it spreads to everything in your life. But being happy and, as I said earlier, giving back, understanding that we're here in this life to help each other and we're all going to end up at the same spot. So
Well, yeah. Uh,
the nursing home,
yeah, yeah, the nursing home.
maybe. Yeah.
Oh, I'm really hoping not. Um, so I want to turn, I know I mentioned earlier that after our rapid fire, I just want to ask a little bit more of a personal question. Now I know you've gone through some recent loss, and all of those things. For those that are out there that are maybe struggling with loss of a spouse or a parent or a dependent or child or even a dog, what would be
Mhm.
something you would give to them? Like how have you been able to be so resilient at this point in your life?
Well, it's the love of my family and friends to help me. But they can't help with everything, but we just have to push on. I mean, we're born alone, we're going to die alone, and in the meantime, it's these moments that we have that are our life. And if we're overcome with grief, we miss so much. And we can't concentrate on that. We have to concentrate on the person that's gone or our pet or whatever. They wouldn't want us to be sad. They would want us to live a full life. And so that's what we have to do.
I love that. Well, Darcy, thank you so much for spending this time with us today, for sharing your incredible story, your story of resilience and workday Jediism, if you will. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow Darcy. I'll put her handle below. Feel free to connect with her, send her a message, hire her to do change management and all the wonderful things that she conquers in the Workday ecosystem. And we look forward to seeing you next week. We'll have Mr. Christopher Ford from Top Block on. Thanks, everyone.